Oké. Ja, precies. Dan heb je wel.
Dus vragen we Gijs nog bij.
Ja,
lekker.
Succes!
Maar moet je straks even weten wat er echt
Hij
was best wel heel goed.
Ja.
Ja, net zonder ook al. Dat die andere gewonnen was omdat ze dan business bij deden.
Nee, kom wel. Gijs, ik zijn nog gemeentestaanders. Kijk, dat is mijn topding nu bijvoorbeeld. Daar staat niet gauw. Oh, ja, dat heb ik nu bijvoorbeeld. Oh, een single.
I don't have a camera. No. Yeah. Then also the presentation she sent me an email and I sent it back to her.
Dat is mijn horloge.
Kom Gijs eens nog vragen.
Ik ben wel secretaris.
Ja.
Ik zal wel een
Fijn dat we daarvoor denken naar buiten.
document.
We moeten even
Oh. What's it? First 60th. Then you have to do more something like that. Maybe that's sorry, the team of introduction. When I see okay, then same with the program is so.
Zij zijn toen wel weg. Zij zijn heel erg veel.
Okay, so hello everyone. Today we will introduce you to the BISC-E challenge, and as I can see, I see many of you have already a team. So happy to see, but also many people don't have a team, so don't worry. Today is an opportunity also to meet some people, and at the end of today's event, we will also give you a Google form to fill in. So in this form, you can see also the information of other participants, and you can find also other people to connect and formulate teams. So we will also give you this access to this Google form at the very end. And today, Edgar from Revyve will give you a short presentation. So she will introduce you how the Biobased economy is related to his field of working. And then Mia will give you a presentation about everything that is related to BISC-E. So I will talk about the different events that we will have, the criteria for this competition, the documents that you have to submit, and generally the basic program of this competition. And at the very end of the event, we will have the opportunity to have a small presentation of one of the winning teams of the BISC-E, and more specifically the one that won the previous year competition. And they won not only the Dutch round, so they haven't been only the winners of the Dutch round here, so they compete with other universities of the Netherlands, but also they were the winners of the European round, so throughout the other countries of the Europe. And they will give you a brief idea of how they approach the problem and what solution they propose. So you can also ask questions whenever you feel like, in the middle of the presentation at the end. And at the very end, you can have the opportunity also to have some snacks more, some drinks, and also communicate and with each other. So this is more or less the program of today's event. And I wanted to ask you from which backgrounds are you coming from? So what is the main field of your studies? So yeah, you can start, for example. Yes.
Plant sciences.
Plant sciences. Okay. And you?
Food technology.
Food technology. Okay. You?
Food science as well.
Environment policy.
Sorry?
Environment policy.
Ah, nice. Okay. And
I'm also from food tech.
you?
Biobased science.
Biobased sciences. Nice.
Environmental biotechnology.
Mm-hmm.
Marine systems engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And biobased sciences.
Okay as well.
Also biobased sciences.
Yes.
we all do
Yeah, biobased science.
Okay, so the majority from biobased sciences, but we have also some food tech people, right? Okay, nice.
And I see two teams,
Yes.
2 people who have team, and a couple of people who might form a team.
Yes.
Okay. And we have also international development online.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay.
So,
Edgar, are you ready? Then I will start your presentation.
So hello, thanks for the invitation. So I took some of the keywords of your email. It's key challenges and pressing topics for the bio-based economy. And I put a few slides, which are serving more as a guideline rather than an instruction to you. I'm pretty sure you are aware of most of the topics, but perhaps we should frame it more towards our experience as Revyve. So we are Revyve. We are located here in campus. It's a spin-off of Wageningen University. So after my PhD, we started with the company already 6 years into it. We grew from a team of 1 person to a team of 30 plus. And maybe what I would like to discuss with you is about the journey. What are the key elements that you should consider for implementing a bio-based solution? So you go to the next one.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out how that works because I have so many different windows. Sorry, just a second. It's a kind of. Sorry, Edgar. It takes a little bit because something goes wrong here. Yes, this one's okay. Okay, I have your presentation now, but it's still stuck on this presentation. Yes. Okay. Next slide. It's yes, we are there. Okay.
This is what we are currently doing in our commercial facility. So we produce these proteins. And these proteins are used to mimic the functionality of animal proteins, like for example from egg white, but also from milk proteins and others. And our intention is to, with these proteins, deliver texture. So we are not particularly trying to replicate an egg, but we are trying to replicate the functionality of egg in food products. Because, of course, in many of the food products we consume, we need this type of textures. So we need it to be fluffy, we need it to be crispy and firm. And with the proteins we produce, we can mimic some of those proteins. So maybe the first key word here is that we are not trying to mimic an egg. We're trying to replicate an egg. An egg exists, we love it for the conditions of egg, but we are trying to produce something that does the same. So we try to take the pressure from egg. Instead of everybody made with egg, we diversify the portfolio for making food products. And this is how we do it. We let's say take high quality yeast and we have a process and then we produce the ingredients. But maybe the second message here is the source of the biomass. Also from the very beginning, we were really particularly interested in using spent biomass. So biomass that for other purposes would be a waste, we wanted to take it, to upcycle it, to valorize it in high performance area. So again, first we didn't want to replicate something, we wanted to add value to give extra functionality. And second, we wanted to use, let's say, waste material, which is also very important for what comes next. And then maybe the third part of this presentation is about how to go from an idea that we had in the lab to actually having a factory like what you see there. It's still very small, it's only 600 tons per year, but it's a commercial facility. And let's say you can imagine when you produce 10 grams of that protein to having 600 tons, what you need to go through. And when you think about all these solutions, please also think on those challenges, because it will put a little bit of a realistic picture on what you are thinking of. For example, the whole regulatory framework, really important. The whole techno-economics, fundamental, market or not market, really critical for the project. So I'm going to also say a couple of things about scaling up. You know this already, what the problem is. Of course, climate change, biodiversity, pollution. So maybe pollution is a bit less mentioned, but for example, microplastics. And the microplastics, all the amount of pollutants, whatever chemicals in our water sources, for example, really important. So we need to find ways to remove those from the equation. Otherwise, the pressure becomes too high. We also know that the goal is to move from I take it, I use it, and I waste it into what's out there that is already wasted, so we can use, valorize, and give value creating packaging. But even that it's not always green, a lot of the solutions that we hear are actually replacing one problem by the other. There are a few examples of that, but the one that strikes me the most is that we keep feeding soy to cattle. It's a bit strange thing. And we know why that happens. It's of course scale and cost and its convenience, etc. But again, if we go that direction, yeah, it's going to create another problem, although it seems to be a little bit green. So again, when you think of a new solution, also think, am I actually replacing one problem by the other? But it's really, truly benefiting the climate. You also are aware of this, I'm sure. What is the pressure market? What are the really key fields or elements where we need to work? Food systems is where we are active, but there are more, of course. Plastic waste, cement and concrete, aviation, and packaging. So a lot of critical areas where your solutions, of course, need to play a role. But I'm sure you are aware of this. Go to the next slide. All right, but when you have these very good ideas, and you try to go from, what you do in the lab and you do your economics and you start to scale up, is that you're going to face something that is called the value of debt. And there are many definitions of value of debt, but in this case, it's about high capex. So a lot of the solutions in the biotech industry require heavily intense capex. So you need to buy equipment, so tanks and pumps, and you need a facility and you need operators, and you need to go through all the regulatory framework, and that takes time. That requires a lot of money, and that also requires a lot of players helping you, government, institutions, etc. If you come up with the previous slide.
Oh,
But
sorry.
basically what is happening is that you start to increase in let's say, the risk of scaling up your process, and you start to invest all this amount of money. Then you come to a point where you have invested so much, but you are not sure if the risk is low or not. If the risk remains high. Are you actually going to make it? Is your factory going to be successful? Can you actually sell the product that you're producing? And that's the point where you are here. This area is where you need the most help. And it's a bit of a vicious circle, because you go to an investor and you show, look, I need 10 million, and the investor says, okay, show me how much have you sold? And then, yeah, but I need that money to sell. And then they say, yeah, but I think maybe if you haven't sold anything. So how can you prove that your product, that you can sell it, if you actually don't get the chance to sell it? So that particular where you also need help from the government, for example, to come into the investor and say, look, let's do it together. I help you because I chose this company. Or the government comes to the bank and says, lend the money to this person, because it's an interesting project, and if this person is unable to pay, then I will help to serve as a guarantee. This debt of value of debt, is the most important element for scaling up a biobased. We are also aware of this, the land-water dilemma, and also food fuels versus nature. So we know that there's a finite amount of resources, minerals, etc. So it's our mission when we develop these new ideas to not put more pressure into it. So how is it that we're going to develop a new type of molecules that can be used in batteries, so we don't rely forever on rare earth minerals? How is it that we are going to develop things to recycle or reuse batteries that are already existing, or new types of polymer that can be used in wind farms, for example, where we avoid this vicious circle of just taking the blades apart every 20 years and just bury them in landfills. So when you think about your solutions, also think about this dilemma. The limited amount of resources, and the solutions we provide should not contribute to that pressure, but on the contrary, should relieve that pressure. Especially on the last one is where we are kind of contributing, because we are using this new generation feedstock. There are a few examples written there, but in our case, it's microbial. And again, it's spent microbial. We have a particular example, which is the brewery industry, where after the brewing process, we recover the beer, and what's left is what we can use in our process. But there is more than that. We can also use yeast that is coming from the winery industry. We can use yeast that is coming from the bioethanol industry. So it's a really huge supply that we can use. But again, it's all waste. And again, that's why we think our solution contributes to sustainability targets. So we also know this, the key, let's say, areas where biotech is truly needed. Aviation fuel, for example, is one critical one. We say, let's fly less. That's, of course, a good one. That would be great if we could fly anyway, because we have developed a new type of fuel. That's where the critical solution needs to come. Marine biofuels, for example, using biomethanol, for which we have a lot. An example of that is in the Rotterdam. And of course, high value chemicals in many industries, including new coming batteries and semiconductors. For us, is the last one, which is the novel protein sources, new types of ingredients that are coming from low value feedstocks that we can upgrade them for food consumption. And of course, very important, fermentation method, very powerful to achieve all this goal. This slide is called bottlenecks, but I want to emphasize that I honestly don't think regulation is a bottleneck, it's a need. but I think the government should also help us a little bit with making regulation a little bit, so that we can work together. Sometimes it's a very extensive, very long process with some bureaucracy involved, and with the help of government, we don't need to remove regulation, we should make it a little bit more. Standardization is actually really important, that everybody speaks the same languages, that the standards are clearly defined, so the solutions that we provide actually work for the purpose they are created, and not falling into the trap of a greenwashing, which is basically creating another problem where there was no change. And for me, one that is absolutely critical is the economic parity. So one good example is oil industry. So from oil we get plastics that we use in everyday life. And when you try to develop a bioplastic, of course, you have to compete with the oil prices, which is very complicated. It's still very cheap. So as long as oil prices remain low, other biosolutions are very difficult to emerge, because we need to make sure that they are financially feasible. For the case in where we are involved, which is alternative proteins, if we are competing against egg white proteins, if the price of egg white is too low, and so it's going to be impossible for us to really make a healthy business out of it. So we need economic parity in the sense of we either develop very good solutions, economically viable as well, or we think on some sort of taxation system for oil or for carbon-based solutions, so new technologies can emerge. Otherwise, we're going to be falling again into the feasibility trap. Maybe I'm speaking too fast, and everybody's quiet, not asking any question, but maybe to close here. Of course, with the bio-based solutions, we need better molecules, better materials, better systems, better food. Say, not to replace exactly what exists, but to make it better, to add functionality to what already exists. It needs to be truly valuable, not simply being optional. That's quite important. We need a system in place to support initiatives that are capex intensive. So either with loan systems or with the help of government to convince investors, or investors that are more risk takers. And in my opinion, in terms of price parity, against when we are competing, for example, oil, then we need another system. If oil prices and plastic prices are too cheap, then new solutions are very difficult that they emerge.
Thank you for this interesting presentation. Do you have any questions for Edgar?
I was wondering how easy it was to get like the spent yeast from a factory. Are they very willingly giving that away? Are they literally now throwing it away? Or
So the answer is yes, it was easy to get, but there are some caveats. For example, a lot of the breweries don't have a food grade system in their spent yeast. So they produce the beer, it's all food grade, but once it goes into the final tank, it's not food grade anymore. So if we need to use a food grade material, we cannot take it. So we go to the brewery and say, oh, sure, go and take it. But we go there and it's all not food grade. And then we say, look, we need food grade. And we say, yeah, but I don't have money to pay for it. So that, for example, is a key example to understand that it's very easy to get, but because we need something of high quality food grade system, then we have a problem because we cannot get it unless we invest there or they make an investment, and then it's a complicated solution.
are they happy for people to take it away, or is it now thrown away, or do they need to pay for the?
No, so currently they have an outlet, and mostly is feed. So they just take it to farms or for pigs or for There are other solutions. So for example, they could make some sort of yeast extracts. They're in the market as well. But normally they're low price outlets. And when we come, we could offer an added value to them. So it becomes interesting also for their business case.
I have also one online question.
Yes.
You can go, and then I will ask one online question.
No, so in terms of purchasing capex, is it possible that like some sites rent out a certain client that we instead, and are sites willing to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Those are solutions. The problem I see there is the flexibility. Because, so imagine that there are co-manufacturing facilities. So you go there and you say, look, I want you to produce this for me. So they have their own tanks, so they make it. But once you come into a full-time production, then this flexibility becomes a bit difficult because you need a dedicated facility for your own process. And the co-manufacturing costs are too high. So there is a point where you say, look, I need a solution which is my own factory, with my own terms, my own facility.
And the online question is about where you get your resources. So I think you said it's from the leftovers from the factory. And what I read in the question is like, so it's always waste. So do you rely on them producing waste, or like how?
So we rely, for example, on them making beer.
Okay.
Because if they make beer,
yeah,
we always will have this as a secondary product that we can benefit from. Same goes for bioethanol industry. As long as they make bioethanol, then we can always take biomass. This is it's something that we'll always make when they produce beer or ethanol.
I think that answers the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you. And good luck with the rest of the session.
Okay, so now we'll give a small presentation about BISC-E, so what it's all about, the deliverables, the criteria, and how we can find the team. So yeah.
Okay, let me change the presentation. My favorite part. Oh my gosh. I think it's here. I have this. Yes.
So welcome to the BISC-E, the Biobased Innovation Student Challenge Europe. And today we will give you some basic information about this challenge. Starting with this, first I will introduce you to some of the organizers of this challenge. So the main organizations that are involved and what specifically they do. Starting from us, which we are Wageningen Student Challenges, and we are basically an office that organizes challenges for students. One of these is the Biobased Innovation Student Challenge. And we empower you as a student to participate, and you get a little bit into the innovation aspect and also learn about entrepreneurship. The second organization.
Yeah, it's coming very slow. I'm really sorry, but
yeah,
I clicked already 5 times.
Yes, sorry.
So you can go ahead with your presentation, and I'll try to figure out how that works. Yeah, it's stuck. I have to do something. I don't know what. We see. Yes, now.
Okay, so the second organization, Biobased Industries Consortium, and this organization.
Yeah, it doesn't want to click, so I have to kind of, how to say, like I have to do, kind of make it small and big again. So it takes a lot of time. Yeah. Only thing I can do now. Yeah. No. It's completely stuck.
Okay, right, give us a moment.
Yes, I'm there. Aha. Okay, I'll just click all of them, okay? Okay, that goes better.
Okay, so the second organization that is involved is the Biobased Industries Consortium, and this coordinates the country participation and is a co-financial organization also for the European finals. The last one is Next, and is an innovation platform that promotes BISC-E. Coming to the other organizations that are involved, it's Avance, which is a university, and is again a co-organizer and university partner. And lastly, we have Biobased Circular, which is a national growth fund program located here in the Netherlands. But what is the challenge about, more or less? So you will come up with a bio-based solution. So this can be, for example, a process or a product, and it's basically you start with the selection of a problem. So you have to identify a problem and then propose a more bio-based solution, let's say. And yes, and for that, you should be innovative. So a little bit think out of the box. Also, give a solution that has a good environmental impact, and of course, it's economically feasible because we want the solutions to be feasible, and in the later point also scalable. So you, as students, you can participate. If you're coming from a Dutch university, it doesn't matter if you are on a bachelor level or a master level. So you have to be students, and you have to be students the time of registration. So if you get your degree, if you graduate in between the challenge, the time period of the challenge, it doesn't matter. You have to be on the start a student. And you have to formulate things from 3 to 6 people, but these depend also on the number of the people that will participate in total. So I will inform you when the registration closes, which is the final number of participants that we allow. The basic timeline starts from today that we have this info session. So we give you the basic information about the challenge. And the second one is the registration deadline, which is very close. It's on the middle of March, and more specifically in 16th of March. The kickoff event, which will be held here at Wageningen, and we also cover the costs for this event, and will be on the 2nd of April in the afternoon. And then we have the validation workshop on 15th or 14th of April, which is a hybrid event, so you can either join in person or online. Then the pitch workshop and feedback sessions on 15th of May. The submission of the final documents, so your final report at the late of May. And then finally, we have the finals, the Dutch finals, which will be on 10th of June in the hall. So let's start by analyzing these concepts. First, regarding the registration deadline, as I told you, it's very close, 16th of March, and you can either participate individually, so you can register individually if you have a personal interest as a student, but also you can, if you have a team, you can register as a team. And here the most important part is that if you have a team, you have to register all the team members. So if you are a 4 or 5 team member team, you have to register each of you individually, but click the box that you have a team. And you can also choose if you have a captain already in this form. And the second event is a kickoff event, which, as I told you, we cover the travel costs and will be held here in Wageningen. And the basic program starts with a keynote from a bioeconomy ambassador. Then we have short pitches on bio-based fields, and more specifically textiles, building materials, and packaging. After that, we have an ideation workshop in which you have the opportunity to start from scratch an idea. So if you don't already have an idea, don't worry. We give you support on that. And you will have also the opportunity to work a little bit on your initial thoughts about this idea and get feedback. And at the very end, you give a small presentation of your idea. And of course, we have Meet and Teach all together. The following event is the validation workshop, and this workshop is hybrid, so you can either join online or in person, as I told you, and we cover again the travel costs. And this validation workshop has as a big scope to learn how to validate your idea. So let's say you have an idea, but you don't know if this is feasible. And feasibility, as I told you, is one of the requirements. So if you don't know if it's feasible, here we support you and we give you feedback on that. And of course, you can ask questions and get as much feedback as you need. And then we have the pitch workshop. This workshop is really important because when you give a presentation, most of the times you don't know what is essential to present. So if I have a limited time, amount of time, I don't know sometimes what is essential and what is not, what is the catchy points, what I should highlight in my presentation. So actually, the scope of this project, of this event, is to give you some guidelines on how to pitch, and you will have also the opportunity to do your own pitch and get feedback. And this is really important because at the very end of this competition, you have to pitch your idea. So you have to convince your audience that your idea is good and you believe in your idea, and highlight the main key points. And then we have at the late of May the submission of the final document. So this is a small report that includes a short description of your innovation, then an introduction explanation of the innovative aspect. This should not be really innovative, so don't think about it like I have to generate a new product that doesn't exist. You can either alter some of its ingredients and give at some at some point an innovation, or also, for example, develop a new process, and can be in many different fields. And then we have the technical explanation of the innovation. So here you really have to dive into the details. For example, if you develop a process, you have to analyze what is this process, what elements are included from a also more scientific point of view. And then you have, of course, to give proofs and elaborate more of the positive impact that will have this idea in the environment. Coming to the next part, we have the criteria of this documentation, of these documents, and these are more or less very, very much connected to what we want in the report. So you will be assessed for the innovative aspects, you will be assessed for the technical feasibility, for the environmental impact, for the economical impact and the feasibility and scalability of the idea, and then the overall presentation that, as I told you give at the very end, and your enthusiasm in this project. Lastly, we have the Dutch final, which will be held at The Hague. And the Dutch finals basically is that every team will compete here in the Netherlands with other teams coming from Dutch universities. And at least 2 of your team members should be present in this event. And the best 3 pitches will also present to all of you. So we have some pitches with the experts, but then the 3 top teams will present to everyone their ideas. And we have, of course, the big announcement of the winner. And to give you more information about what World Biomarket is basically an international business event for the industrial biomanufacturing community. So here in this event, you will have also the opportunity to meet other people from industry possibly. And the very last event is the European finals, in which only the winning team of the Dutch competition will go. You will have the opportunity to win 1,000 euros.
Can I just correct you? Because for the national finals, you win 1,000. And
yes,
for the so actually just win 1,000. Yes. It belongs to the previous slide.
Yes.
And for this one, it should be win 5,000.
Yes. So the winning team that will go there will have won 1,000 euros. And then we'll go to the European finals, which are slightly more late than the Dutch round. So it's most of the times on October. And then we have, in these finals, we have professional training and pitching for making a video. So here you will have to create a small video also, but of course you don't have to change your document that you submitted in the Dutch finals. It will remain the same. And in this round, you have the chance to win larger winning prizes and up to 5,000 euros. And you compete with other European countries. So for example, France, so teams, the winning teams of the other countries. And to give you an idea about some previous ideas that were presented in this competition, I will start with the team BISC-E. this team will also give you a small presentation later, so you have the opportunity to meet two of the three people that formulated this idea. And basically, this team, they focused on the cosmetics because the BISC-E has many different fields that you can focus on, and basically to skincare products. So their idea was to replace the synthetic-based UV protection ingredients that exist in this product by more natural ones, and more specifically from a compound coming from seaweed. Then another team formulated an alternative for the hydroseeding, and basically they replaced PAM, which is plastic-based polyacrylamide. So they replaced the plastic focused compound and to a more natural one. And then the last team, Urman, developed an organic solution that was focusing in the livestock farms, and basically they reduced the nitrogen emissions by using the fermented whey permate. So let's say the byproduct of the whey processing. And then finally, I will conclude. So what are the reasons that makes you contribute and participate to this challenge? Basically, to expand your network, because you will meet other students that have the same interests, other experts, and people from industry. Also, you will have the opportunity to develop valuable skills. So as I told you, you will learn how to develop an idea from scratch that is innovative, sustainable, and also scalable. You will also develop your pitch presentation skills, but also communication skills and writing skills. And then you get feedback from experts. So this is really important because they have a lot of experience, and they can also a little bit, I would say, change the way that you are thinking most of the times. The next one is that you gain a visibility in the bio-based sector. And actually also this is important because many times companies are coming to the students that participated in this kind of challenges, and they ask for more details or what they did, and they put a lot of emphasis on that. So this will, trust me, will differentiate you from other students, because I had also a similar experience. And at the very end, you will have, of course, the opportunity to win some prizes, and be proud of yourself. So what are the next steps? The next steps is that you can scan this and you can register officially to the challenge. As I told you, individually, or if you have already a team, good. And then find team members if you can, but we can also help you with that. The deadline, as I told you, is very close, 16th of March. And yeah, if possible, we advise you to find someone from your own university, because as you can imagine, we have many universities that can participate throughout Netherlands. So we advise the students to be from the same university in order to collaborate more easily. So yeah, these are our social media profiles that you can, of course, follow us for more information and updates for this challenge. And if you have any question at any moment, feel free to send us an email. So thank you for your presentation.
So we'll do the question after the CT skin.
Yes. So you will have the opportunity to ask questions at the very end. Now I will introduce you to the CT skin team. So you can come here. So this is William and this is Daniel, and then they were previous participants of the challenge. As I told you, the winning team of the Dutch finals and the European finals, and they had also another team member who cannot be here today. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah, we also prepare one slide presentation only to summarize our journey in BISC-E 2025. And I would say that this opportunity is a life-changing moment. Life-changing moment. Yeah, one of the highlights in 2025, especially for me. I think Daniel also has been the same thing. Oh,
Yes,
Oh,
it's
maybe
coming. It's
like this,
coming.
so I cannot
It's not
look.
there.
Can I send it?
Is it okay without the slides?
Oh, yeah. that's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry because I think it will take too much time to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to start. So maybe if anyone of you has any questions, I will be open to that first. Okay, thank you. Hi, George.
Hi. So maybe you can tell us how did you come up with the idea of maybe you received some help with that when you researched literature? What was your ideation stage? And maybe you encountered some problems to move forward this project.
Yeah, so it's quite funny because actually in the kickoff event, we don't really have an idea, but we have a brainstorming sessions. And during that workshop, we just come up with something. Oh, okay, we enrolled to a course at called something, and we discuss about seaweed. And then, okay, what is it in seaweed? And then what is the potential? We just Googling, and then, okay, that is one compound that is interesting. We just quickly use the framework that later on, I think you will also use that in the kickoff event. And then, blah. After that sessions, we actually want to dig out or explore more ideas, but end up we still stick to the idea of like using the synthetic, not using the ingredients from seaweed as a replacement for synthetic UV protections. But it's quite brainstorming session. Do you remember that actually we also, the first thing that you need to learn from joining the competition is to set your vision about this. Like what do you want to learn especially? For me specifically, I want to like integrate the technical, economical, environmental perspective because this is very important in the bio-based business or entrepreneurship. So when I enroll this, what I want to see is how was the previous winner is, and then that's actually available on YouTube, and then you can also check on it. And then what are the idea is, what they are requiring to, what makes them different and unique. And I think that's one tips that I could give regarding exploring the ideas. And second thing, from the explanations of the competition, it starts in February and then it's ending in October. So it's quite like 7 to 8 months. That's quite a long journey.
Maybe.
I think so.
That's until the European time.
Yeah, 7 to 8 months. And of course, during the process, you as a student have a stuff other than like this competition, like doing your study as well. And what's important for me and for us, the thing is to make your team as solid as possible and you have a same vision towards it. For example, you may not be the best one in the technical environmental, but you can give idea in terms of business, for example. Or you are drawn into technical, but you're not an expert about it yet, but you want to learn. I think that's something you need to embrace and also to be clear to your teammates. For example, like in our team, we are the team of 3, and then to conduct this business plan actually quite a lot. But how we divide the project is there are technical, economical, and then the environmental. You work as well.
Yeah, the technical.
Yeah, then I'll mostly work on the technical, so of feasibility study and all the modeling, how the assessment is going, how literature review that maybe you refer to. That's Daniel, who is the one who is in charge about it. And then Dina Yurika, our other teammates, she is responsible for the environmental impact assessment. And me, myself, I work more on the business part. But other than that, we keep like tracking on each other works, keep feedback, and then be open to it. And then I think that kind of commitment is also very important to make sure that you can win the Dutch national round. It's quite different between the Dutch national round and the European final. I don't know if it is different. It is like last year because in the Dutch national round we only have 2 minutes presentations, but in European final we have a 10 minutes presentations. So that's quite different way to like to assess your idea. So we think about it like, okay, we only have 2 minutes. How we can deliver this idea as concrete, as concise, and understandable possible. That's quite hard work. I don't know how we do it actually, but what really helps us is about how we make the report. So put your ideas in the report. Other thing that I also noticed is some of the team may actually have a way more progress in the technical feasibility, such as like they already have a prototype, they have already conduct a pilot plan project. meanwhile us not like we haven't done any laboratory things at that moment yet, but what could differentiate us with them is how we can like choose the right informations, the necessary one, so it's become clear to the judges that okay, this is a convincing ideas. So that's kind of storytelling is so very important when you do your presentations. Yeah, what I also like about the competition is we travel, we with friends. We also travel to, yeah, lucky us, like after winning the Dutch national round, we also participate in 4TU Impact Challenges. This is organization between 4TU universities, and then that's where we actually like improve our more on the business perspective wise, because in that moment, the event is organized to meet with investors. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something about our journey, and then we came into the European final rounds, and then we present, and then we also shocked that when we were announced as a winner. Do you want to add something?
I think you talked enough.
Okay.
I think there's a question.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of questions.
Are you still working on C2C now? Yeah.
Mostly we do discussion when we keep our network from the competitions, because for example, from the 4TU Impact Challenge, we met with product developer. From the European final, we met with Biobased Industry Consortium, and then we still keep discussing on it. But about the idea, the next step is quite what is that, like resource intensive, because it's about like testing the technical, and then to manage with we are students finishing our thesis, so we kind of like all get to the side of it.
So it's hard to multitask.
Yeah.
So would you say the entire challenge is more like you don't necessarily have to have a product or a design process? So you said you're kind of staying in the brainstorming idea phase, and then you sell the idea for the product itself. So which is okay. So and in the end, it's the networking that's the most important compared to what you really do with the product.
Like when you say about technical feasibility, it's not necessarily that you have to get a new show with people. And then there is another way to showcase that it's feasible, and we use another method to convince.
Okay.
Because it's about the innovation, right? Bio-based innovation.
How much do you work on it
Oh.
or separately during the process? Like how many hours?
Oh,
That's a good answer.
No, it's not too intensive. How much?
I think we try to come in to meet within weekly basis, at least an hour. And basically we do catch up about our progress in the first 20 minutes, and then we work for 20 minutes, and then we wrap up in other 20 minutes to the task. But like to be honest, sometimes we just work on the assessment during the meeting.
So maybe 2 to 3 hours per week,
Maybe.
or more.
Maybe
Maybe up to 5 hours per week.
in the yeah.
Did you end up producing a sample for the European round, or also are you supposed to decide that?
No.
No sample.
Yeah, it's not a requirement to present the prototype. So if you have the materials and the equipment, you can do it, but it's not mandatory.
But
You
definitely.
mentioned that in between the national and European finals, you had lab work on it, or you did not work in the lab on the project?
Between the Dutch national round and the European final, we mostly work and I think the business and the regulatory framework. So a lot of interviews, a lot of like market testing, feasibility, potential customer interview. So gaining insight on how our idea from the experts.
So do you feel that developing the business model is more important than developing the technical process in this whole idea? Because you were saying that the person who came second of they worked on the lab. And
I wouldn't say that the business is more important than the others. Of course, definitely the three of them is very important. But in our case, because our teammate mostly we came from technical background, so we are quite convinced about our understanding about the technical. But other than that, the environmental business is quite new for us, so we need to spend extra more hours for that.
I can add a little bit on that because I remember from the last year's jury process that actually jury was like there were a couple of reports that were very technical, more like a scientific presentation, and that was like the jury preferred when there was really good understanding also of the business side. So it's not either this or that, but a combination. And you should think about it as a competition when you present a business idea at the end. So your report should also be a business idea presentation and not a scientific report.
Thank you, Adela. You can see actually how many points you get for each of these sections on the criteria label. So, for example, it's different sections take different points at the end. So you will be evaluated according to that.
Yeah, more questions.
For the feasibility validation, is it more like European environment? Is it like more visible in Europe, or can it also be like visible in other areas as well?
Yeah, that's also what we thought about when we joined class competitions, because there is a term Europe, and then we try to solve something that is not solved. Right? We try to look for resources in Europe, waste or bio-based resources, but in anywhere possible, we want to make sure that our solution can work for other area as well. For example, in the UV protections, maybe it's people in Europe only apply during the summer, but it's become a quite huge market if you go to tropical area. And then, for example, one of our uniqueness is because of the UV protection is coming from seaweed, and then it's technically or hypothetically like safe for the sea. And then there is some regulation developing in Hawaii saying that they only allowed certain kind of UV protections. So that's one of the uniqueness that we
And also because Europe is also getting more interested in seaweed in these coming years. It's also recently to seaweed.
Oh, but I remember actually during the European final first round, they usually say that because we use seaweed that is in the European coast, mostly a Mediterranean coast, but the type of seaweed was also happen to be accessed in Dutch Caribbean. So I don't know whether it's Europe or not, but it's part of Dutch.
Any other questions?
I'm just wondering whether we can read your report anywhere.
Wow. I can explain to you, but for sharing the report, I don't think that's. We want to keep the intellectual property.
Presentation, is that available?
Well, the presentation is available. I think that's
YouTube, right?
Yeah. You can actually go to YouTube, and then there is a final presentation of course, and other presenters as well.
Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you for your interesting insights.
Yes.
So, thank you for being here. I would like to end up this event with a slide that you can scan a QR code and you can fill in a Google form with some of your personal information. So, some of your name, your surname, if you have already a team or not, and what you're searching for. For example, if you're searching for other team members, you can fill in the sector that you would like to have an experience or study. So you can scan this, and the results of this, I will send you an email to everyone about these results, so you can also have each other's contacts. Yeah, and also for the online participants too.
I think there was one suggestion. So there is a team from Avans, Erasmus, and Wageningen, and they are looking for team members with bio-based background, right? Yeah. So the person who is, I think, a team captain, she already filled in the form, and if you would like to connect with her, she is. You can reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, you can have volunteers here, of course, and we can have some talks together.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
can you repeat? You said that they were searching for biotechnology background.
Yes. Yes. So
And how can we reach just to get a
So
bit of information?
via this,
Yeah.
but her name is Mainke.
Okay.
So she said, like, if there are any students in biotechnology,
Okay.
just looking for so you contact me on LinkedIn, she said, but I think you can also reach out to her via the form. This
via
form.
the form?
This form.
In the form?
Yeah. So if you scan this one, I think you should go to the. We can have it. Where do you get? Oh, no, okay. So this is the form, and then you get the results. But let me just. I'll close this meeting. Yep. Close the meeting.